Hello, 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 hello. Thank you for tuning in to BMSTE radio show. You know, I get confused, Trump. Should I be looking at that? Where do I need to look at? The blue light. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm always looking in every other direction.
I want to fix
when
my
I go
hair.
back.
Ugh.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Whenever I go back and watch them, it's like my eyes are going everywhere but where they're supposed to be. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We have a couple of announcements. Again, we want to talk about our initiative. Oh, first of all, I'm all excited about tonight. So I would like thank you guys for tuning in. And then if you'd like to follow us, please follow us on BMSTE Radio Show at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We would like to thank our sponsor for tonight, which is the Makeup of Hair. She is located in Rockville. She could put your weave in, take your weave out. Unfortunately, I don't do weave, but she also did my hair in the photo that we use for our promotion. So she styled me and did my makeup. In that she did my hair and makeup for that. So definitely reach out to the Makeup of Hair if you need any hairdo. She's in Rockville, and you can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Makeup of Hair. We also want to make sure that you guys are aware that we are still trying to do the blessing bags we are going to get 400 bags. This year. We're going to go out to a couple of Walmarts in the area and just collect some items and then pass out these blessing bags to the shelter on Martin Luther King Avenue, the men's shelter. And then we're also going to do a woman's shelter somewhere in the DMV or Baltimore. Just haven't identified that one yet. So definitely reach out to us if you'd like to host an event, if you'd like to donate anything to us. Definitely reach out to us at submissions@bmste.com, and we will definitely meet you whatever we need to do to get the items. We also would like to thank Ripped Radio Network for nominating us for the best show of the year. One of the best show of the year. We are going to win. So with your help, we will win. So, and then also the most influential show of the year. And what you have to do is you have to go to Radio Network, rippedradionetwork.com, and then go to Ripsies, and then you'll see where the first two choices on one were side by side. Those categories are side by side. So go ahead and vote there. And then if you want to look at some of the other shows out there that are there, you could also vote for those too. So we want to thank you for that. I think that's all of our housekeeping stuff for tonight. Again, the blessing bags. We want to thank the Makeup of Hair, and we also would like to thank Rip Radio Network for the nominations for BMSTE Radio Show. We are definitely grateful for that. And then now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, we're going to have a wonderful conversation tonight. If you'd like to join in the conversation, you could call us at, I believe I wrote the number down today. Yes, I did. 301-288-3100. Again, the number is 301-288-3100 if you'd like to contribute to our conversation tonight. So what we're going to be talking about, because as you know, the fourth show, the last show of every month that we do is dedicated to the youth. As you know, BMSTE Radio, BMS Talent and Entertainment has youth talent that we represent. So we want to make sure that we're making sure that our youth has a good foundation and making sure that they're growing, they're being able to keep a childhood balance. So at times we'll have the youth on the show, other youth that's not connected with BMS Talent and Entertainment as well. And whenever I get an opportunity to point out how women can work together, I like to do that because I often hear almost every day, either it be women can't work together, women don't want to hang out with other women. I wanted to point out that Peggy Williams and Benita Spinner are in the same category. We do the same things, but as you can see, we are here, we are working together. She had some of my talent out to a recent event that she currently hosted. It was an amazing event. The kids had a ball. I believe she enjoyed working with them as well. So you can work with women. It's going to be okay. You'll all survive. Trust me, it'll be fine. So I always want to point that out as well. So without further ado, we want to introduce our guest for this evening, Miss Peggy Williams, so she can tell us all about herself, what she does, and how you can find her.
Thank you for having me, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure. Just to give you some background information about myself is that I initially started with Kelly Williams Productions, and basically we were a talent management agency then. So years passed and we decided to revamp and do Dream Merchant Media. And that was a production company. We film, we script write, we pitch shows to network. Excuse me. So that's where the Dream Merchant Media started. But also we did the talent management, where we managed singing groups, actors, athletes, and everything. So we used to have a female group signed to Tommy Boy Records, and later, like 7 years later, we took upon ourselves to put together a female group by the name of Carmen, who was signed to Atlantic Records. So now we have the production, the music, the acting. We had everything covered, but we were just kind of like, you know, what else are we missing? So then my son started boxing. I said, oh, there's another opportunity. Hey, you got it. I'm going to show it.
I know that's right. That's right.
So, and to piggyback on what you were saying about the event that we had on October 14th, it was basically a workshop and seminar. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to bring in your children, your talent, and introduce them to my talent of the company. And
notice we work together, and we're both females.
Yes.
And we're doing the same thing. We're not in competition.
Nope.
We're just here to work together so that we could both excel.
Exactly.
So I just want to make sure I say that.
Yeah.
You just have no idea how much I hear about women can't work together. I don't want to hang out with a lot of women. I'm just tired of that song. So I just want to make sure anytime I have an opportunity to say it, I always say it.
Well, absolutely. And I think that once you have an understanding, you have to have like minds work together. Because you can't you can't have someone who's doing one thing and you're doing another thing. You're not going to be interested. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. I mean, if it's like a hairstylist, you want to hang with people who do styling or makeup or hair. So like minds come together and we're able to, you know, communicate and work together.
And make big moves.
Make big moves. That's right. We're talking to the boss here.
Big moves.
Absolutely.
So finish telling us about, so you transitioned from the Kelly Williams production, and what was that? Was that the same management team, or were you doing mainly production?
Same management team. We just, you know, we wanted to really, you know, step out there and start anew. You know what I'm saying? Because Kelly actually had been off TV for a while, and, you know, but she still have a large fan base. And we didn't want to just solely base that on her. You know what I'm saying? So with that, even though she's a part of our company, you know, we still basically wanted to do something a little different, you know, and just, I mean, sometimes you just want to step out and do something different, you know.
Right.
So
just in case you guys aren't aware, Kelly Williams is Laura off of Family Matters. Yeah. So keep up. You guys got to keep up with this stuff.
Go for the reboot. You know?
Yes, go for the reboot. We definitely, after those pictures, we definitely want the reboot.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We got to start a fan page for that.
I know. They had so many likes and people wanting them to come back together. And it was just amazing to have that type of, to be away from television that long and then to come
25
back.
years.
25 years. And then have the fan base want this to happen. It was amazing, and she got over like 500,000 people who voted and wanted to have it come back. So
I mean, we've all kind of talked about how it could happen. We've you know, we said Urkel could be a kid that Laura and Steve had, and Steve is now Stefan, and and then that way the kid could be the new Urkel, and then another name. So you know, we have it all figured out.
We
have it all figured out.
You know, my first thought was like, how can we do this? Because we pitch content to television networks as well, and I was like, well, heck, he can be a professor at a community college, and Laura can be a teacher at a, you know, high school, because that gives you the element of the youth. you know, you have that element of high school in there, and then you have the professor who, you know, trying to teach the NASA physics of, you know, why he ended up in space.
Right.
You know, so I was, you know, I was brainstorming.
It was a lot of us sitting around. After we left there, everybody was pushing out ideas how it could happen. So we were definitely excited. So we're definitely in the vote for it to come back.
Thank you.
So, and I'm also making a mental note that you pitch shows.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that's something that's going in my thought process.
And you know, I'm a creative person. If I see something, I can kind of transform it and make it, you know, make it make sense. You know, and I'm really into like coming up with new ideas, show ideas. Like I had a couple of show ideas that we pitched to Mona Me Entertainment, which was Mona Scott. We pitched content to Nickelodeon. What was the other one? VH1, TV1, BET. I mean, like, you know, pitching is a cool, but then it's like you think you have the only idea out there.
Of course.
But then you realize that somebody else got the same idea, and you're like, oh
yeah.
So.
I caught myself saying, I'm gonna do an 80s party for my birthday, and it's gonna be a comedy show at the beginning, and then like for the last 2 weeks I've seen it's a Crush Groove event, 70s, 90s.
Right.
Then it's another event for the 80s, and I'm like, wait a minute, why wasn't everybody thinking about this before I had my idea?
Exactly. So
but, you know,
that's how it
other
goes.
people have the same thoughts, but you know, you just
Great
put your own
minds think
spin.
alike.
Yeah, you put your own spin on it.
You do.
So tell me about so today the conversation, and we kind of made another conversation too when we talked about the music. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is how do parents prepare their kids for the industry? Like, we think, like right now, you know, we're ground zero. We started about 2 years ago, so we're kind of like still putting our toe in the water. We've landed some pretty good stuff, but we think we're ready.
Right.
And we think we have a foundation of how to make sure our kids stay balanced. But how do you really prepare for that beast?
Oh, my goodness. That's a good question, because basically what typically happens, like I may get an email from a parent who I, you know, basically say, hey, I want to get my child into acting and modeling and print work, and they don't realize how hard it is.
And how much money it costs.
And how much money it costs. You may make a $200 check here, but it took you $500 to get there. So you have to be mentally prepared. And then with acting, getting your child into acting, it starts off fun, and then when those calls come in and say, okay, well, I need you to be in New York or LA for a shoot, or here's the lines and here's the script, and they have to know the script by such and such time, and you got to do a self-tape, and it's a lot. And to go back to your question, you have to be mentally, as a parent, prepared to, when you say yes to a call, you have to commit. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to do it today and then tomorrow, you know, I don't want to do it anymore. Your name is on the line. Mm-hmm. So once you say yes, you got to see that project all the way through until it's done. And so that's my biggest advice to a parent who's interested in getting their child into the industry, is that commitment. And that means that Saturday when it comes to your child wanting to go out and play, and you got to look at your baby eyes and say, baby, you can't play today.
You got to learn these lines.
You got to learn these lines, you know, and I hope you get them. You know what I'm saying? We got to do a self-tape, and hopefully they're in a good mood, because kids go through their emotions too.
Absolutely.
And they don't feel like it. They don't want to do it.
They're a little vocal with it too sometimes.
They are.
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. And be like, okay, well, we'll take a break. And then sometimes you have to kind of put a little, okay, well, I'll take you to Toys R Us
after we finish doing this
taping. You know, so that balance, you have to be able to allow them to grow. You got to allow them to understand what they're doing, and you continue to encourage them and give them that mental break when they need it, because sometimes they get tired. They don't want to do it. But you know, when we were growing up, first thing, you know, mom and dad may say, okay, well, you're going to play basketball, or you're going to do cheerleading or whatever. You couldn't quit
No, you had to keep going.
You had to go and keep going until that season was over. The next season, you may be doing something else.
Yeah, these kids are a little privileged these days.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So once you get that call, because it could happen at any moment.
Oh, yeah.
You could get a call, you start, doing the guest roles. You start with these different projects. But when you get that reoccurring, what is that next level that you think that we're prepared for? Now, we haven't gotten anybody on the reoccurring. We've auditioned for some reoccurring roles, but we haven't landed one yet. And we've gotten some guest stars. But what transition do we expect when we get that email saying you've landed a co-star role, reoccurring?
Well,
what do you prepare for at that time?
Well, first of all, you'd start looking for a tutor, or of course the network will provide you with an on-set tutor.
Right.
That's one thing. And then you're talking about uprooting your family for a short period of time for what is it called, assistant living or extended stay. You know what I'm saying? So you got to prepare for that, and then you got to prepare for, okay, now here it is. This child is going to be on television for a period of time, and then you got to worry about the friends, because the peer pressure is what get them. The peer pressure is very difficult for them. So
what type of peer pressure?
Well, jealousy.
Oh,
people get very what's the right word? They're envious, and they want to do it, but they don't know how hard it is. It's like that mustard seed where it starts a small seed, but they don't, and they look at the tree. The pastor was talking about this in church on Sunday. You may have a small seed, but at the end of the day, and you looking in far away, you see the big tree. You don't realize how hard it was to get to that big tree.
Right.
So you have to be mindful that it's a lot of work, and we know. When we up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, making that road trip, wherever it may be, and making sure you got your lunch packed, you got your snacks packed, because you don't know what the setup is going to be. You got to make sure you got your suitcase, your clothes, just in case something spill. You got to make sure you got your homework, because you got to turn that in the next day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Buses are late.
Yes.
People miss the bus, and you're like, oh my God, and you're having to spend $200 on a train ticket because you missed the bus. Yes, we've experienced all of the above.
Exactly. Or you trying to get there exactly at a specific time, thinking you had hours.
No, the traffic in New York is horrible.
Yes.
Horrible.
Yes. So, I could, that's, and not only that, financially, you may not get that instant return, but just knowing that child booked that gig is just instant gratification.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. I feel the same exact way.
Yes.
It's all worth it.
It is.
It's all worth it. Yes.
And everything that child makes, put it in an account. Make sure you got your account set up. Put it on the name. Show them, show them how to budget that account. Say, babe, you got this. Look what you got. This is what you got. And you just keep adding to them so they can pay for their own education.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. So one of the other questions I had for you was, what's the hardest thing about being, would you say in your experience, the hardest thing about being a child performer? Like, we had that conversation when we got signed with an agent in New York. One of the conversations they had with us was that to be mindful of other parents when you take them to auditions. Like, she had a whole 5-minute spiel on that conversation about how other parents are
over the top.
Yeah, well, they'll try to knock your kid off their game. They'll try to hide their lines. They'll make them upset. They'll sit and they'll brag about, everything that they've done, and you start second guessing your team.
Right.
So that's just one element of it. And then you talked about kids being able to handle the pressure of the peer pressure and their friends losing friends. We go through that as an adult. I know that when I started BMS Talent and Entertainment, like, my friends list dwindled. Wasn't that I fell out with anybody. It was just like the phone calls stopped.
Yeah.
So for an adult, sometimes that's a little hard to to take. But from a kid who's been friends with somebody for years, and then all of a sudden all these relationships end, how do you get a child? Now, we talked about how to get the parent. How do you get the child prepared for that?
Well, a lot of times you have to, I would say, nurture those friendships to kind of like when on their off day or when they don't have anything planned, say, hey, let's try to go to the movies. Let's try to hang out, or, you know, I'm saying, try to keep it normal as possible. But it's really up to the parents, because kids are very innocent. They don't know. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to their well-being or their thought process, they're very innocent, and they don't hate unless they taught to hate.
Right.
They don't learn jealousy unless they like, oh, or hear an adult say it. They don't really know. So I think a lot of times you have to communicate with them and say, hey, maybe next time, you know, your friends can come over here and hang out. And just try to keep that normalcy. You just keep it normal. Keep them active. They want to play ball, you know, or basketball, or sport or something. Just keep that, because, you know, like I said, kids generally are taught to be mean. So,
I agree completely.
yeah.
So how do you shelter the kids? Now, we've seen a lot of child stars, and they end up over the deep end, you know, because and I caution people to stop judging because of the fact that they're teenagers just like everybody else. They're going through it, but they're going through it at an escalated level because a lot of their childhood had been suppressed. So when they decide to do, you know, whatever it is that they're doing, they're not doing anything different than your kid at home. The only difference is it's on TMZ.
Yeah, it's magnified 10 times, 100 times.
And the you know, the drugs and the alcohol is a factor for a parent who is raising their children normal.
Right.
But then when you get to a level, I'm a celebrity, I can sneak in these clubs, they're going to let me in because they want me to spend my money. How do you keep your kid grounded enough to say, oh, I'm going to fire you, Mom. I don't want you telling me what to do, and making sure your child is leveled, because there is a level where kids can blow up, but their head.
Right.
But making sure they understand that it can be deflated still, because I'm still your mother, I'm still your father. How do you keep them on that level where you can maintain that parental relationship when your child is making 50 times more money than you make it? Right.
Well, you know, the one thing, I mean, shoot, look at Beyonce.
Oh, yeah, she's doing amazing.
Come on. She was huge. I mean, she's huge. She's iconic. You know what I'm saying? So you look how her relationship with her father, what happened with that.
Right.
Or you may have Brandy, who, you know, Mom managed her and Ray J for years.
And still is, from my understanding.
Yeah. And I mean, they have their moments too. So for me, I think the best thing to do is always have them engage with family, friends who are friends. You know, could be friends they grew up with. You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep them normal. Try as much. Don't, you know, a lot of times you go out to Hollywood, and like you said, they get that big head, and it's like, I'm the star and stuff like that. And it's so funny because my grandson, he said to me, he took a call, and I said, hey, this is so-and-so on the phone. And he's like, I'm the boss? And so my first reaction was like, yeah, you're the boss. And then my husband looked at me, he's like, that's not true. You know what I'm saying? Because he's 7, and he's thinking, I'm trying to teach him how to be a CEO of your own brand.
Right.
That's what you have to teach them, because if you don't, they'll go out there and do something or that would destroy their careers.
Exactly.
So you have to think of this as Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Your branding is very important. Everything that you do, everything you post, every tweet, everything can be dated, can be tracked. So you got to be mindful of everything you post. So your brand is important. So I was trying to stress to him, like, yeah, you are the CEO of your own company, but at the same time, I'm grandma.
Right.
Now who will spank your butt?
Yes, exactly. Don't get it confused.
Don't get it twisted, boo.
Exactly. So, how do you handle the pressure? I can only imagine. I mean, even from the management perspective, dealing with the pressure of entering, right now we're just kind of pedaling in
right,
it, keeping our head above. But when you get submerged in it, that's a lot of pressure. How do you manage through that pressure?
Oh my goodness, girl, let me tell you, we had to do, like you said, we're just floating right now. We're just kind of like doing our thing, but at the same time, it's like, oh my God, I got to get this self-tape done by tomorrow. That means, what am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? Because you're not just basing it off of you. You got to base it off this child. Maybe they may wake up with a bad day. So, or maybe they don't feel like taping today. And so you got to, that pressure of perfection is crazy. You have to be able to just kind of like say, let me take a moment. Let me regroup, because you got to kind of like take yourself out of it for a minute, because the pressure is real. And then the child feel the pressure of going in that room when they close that door, and you're just kind of like, okay, waiting for them to come out. And you're just like, how did it go?
Right.
You're like, what did they say? Mm-hmm. Did they think you were cute? They didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's just that constant question. So I'm working with my daughter who is in the industry as well, and having her, like, okay, we're doing the self-tape, we're sending out to LA, get it done. We stayed up like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning taping and getting
and
it out.
And that doesn't count if you're still working, you still got groceries, you still got housework, you still got laundry. Kids. You still got all that stuff, and you still staying up till 3, 4 o'clock answering emails and all this other crazy stuff.
And by the way, while you said that, I had sent out an email on Friday to the casting director. And I said, yeah, I got this. I'll send it out. And I was laying in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning last night. I was like, what if the email didn't go through? What happens if something did? What, you know what I'm saying? Your mind start going like, oh my God. And that's the pressure I'm talking about.
Yeah, that pressure is real.
Yes. And you're like, okay, well, luckily for smartphones, because I could just go on my phone and just, hey, hit forward. Making sure you received it. Because there ain't no worse than somebody not getting that email.
Exactly.
And you work so hard.
You work really hard
to get it done.
Yes. Redo it. You got to redo it. Kids are tired. They got to go to school tomorrow. So when parents call me and they say, hey, I want to get my kid into the industry, I usually have one really stern come to Jesus conversation. And 9 times out of 10, you don't get another call.
No, because they don't understand.
Because because it's too much time that you invest for you not to be committed. Or you may not have the resources to be committed right now. And that's okay.
Right. I agree.
But, you might be able to find some local stuff, and we could help you get through that process. But, for me, I send most of my talent up to New York.
Yeah.
I know you do L.A. You got the big connects?
I'm like, LA?
You got the big connects. We trying to be like her. We trying to get people to LA. We've auditioned for some stuff that's filmed there, but we don't have the LA connects.
Well, you know what? I'm telling you, New York is just as good. New York.
Yes, it is.
I'm telling you, that money green too.
Yes.
And it's been the same way.
Yes, so it does. Good. Yes, it does.
Yes.
So where do you see, like, do you have anybody who's on the rising on your roster right now?
Actually, I believe all of them are.
Great answer from a talent manager. Great answer.
I think all of them are. We have London Horsey. We have Leanna Horsey, which are sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is, they're like
you
5 years.
Double.
5 years apart. But and we have Hannah Jackson, who's my granddaughter. And initially, like I said, I started this with my grandkids. I have 7 of them.
I started mine with family, a base of family too.
Exactly.
That way, if I screwed up, it was just it would just be that. I love you guys, but we've been good. But yeah, but I started with a core base of family and friends as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Family, friends. It was kind of all inclusive, and that's how I wanted to start.
Yep.
Before I venture out and get other people's children and be like, oh,
Yeah.
Because everybody think they can do it. Don't make the cut. So
that's the sad part. So do you ever, so one time I had my little brother Tyler. You met Tyler.
Yes, adorable.
So he went to this audition. I think it was for a print ad. And I said, how did it go? And he was like, it went great. And he said, oh, they made me dance and this. And then I was like, oh, okay. But when I hung up the phone, I felt like he's like being like a little toy in front of them, like amusing them. And I was like, all right, get that out of your mind.
Get it out of your mind.
And I was like, but I from the perspective of being a manager, but that was my brother, how as a parent do you get that thought? So you have my kid coming in here to entertain you like some circus puppy.
Exactly. Roll over, turn over, jump.
And then, and then they don't get the call, but they just were amused, this casting director, for like 5 seconds, because the auditions last 5 minutes and you spend $100, $200 to get there.
Yeah, get out your feelings.
Yes.
It's a business. Don't even take it personal. And that's how I look at it. My grandson booked a print gig for some resort, and it's so funny because it took us an hour and a half to get there. 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you get there and you're like, well, can he ride a bike? I'm like, yeah, he can ride a bike, but that bike is too big. So then you're trying to figure out, do I step in as a
parent or a manager? Yeah.
And I just kind of let, step back a little bit and just kind of like see his way through. And, of course, somebody's like, oh, there's another African-American kid here to possibly ride a bike. Then Grandma came out.
And what did Grandma say?
I wasn't mean or anything. I said, okay. Because at that point, he had already got the...
You already got a check.
Hello.
You already got the check.
I already got the check. So you can do whatever you want.
That happened, Darian with Law and Order. He had a line. The line got cut out of the show, but he was still in the show. He's on Law and Order, and he still got paid.
And that's the bottom line.
He still got paid.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me. We had kind of touched on a conversation about the music.
Yes.
Because you manage music, and I decide, if I do want a music division, but it won't be ran by me.
Right. I think it'd be awesome. It's a lot of talent, but it's a lot of headaches too.
It's a lot of work. It is definitely a lot of work with the music. There's a lot of ins and outs that you have to know. There's a lot of things you have to register for. There's just a lot that goes into the music, but you have to have an artist who understands that. And I know we kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
And music, acting, you can kind of get into acting, but music is you got to pay to play.
Exactly.
There's no, sending in a cute little demo reel and
not
or
anymore.
The
industry has changed drastically.
Your electronic press kit, and thinking that might get somebody interested, but then you're gonna have to pay.
And pretty much, back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, that would work because, like I said, I had a female group signed to Atlantic Records, and the initial deal was a 360 deal, and we were like, no, we're not going to do that. But hindsight, looking back, maybe we should have, because you got to get in.
Right.
You can't do nothing if you're not in. People be like, oh yeah, I ain't signing no deal with no label, blah blah blah. They gonna have everything. First of all, get in the door first.
Everybody wants to go indie, but they don't understand what that means. There's so much money. You're doing everything yourself.
Absolutely. Can you compete with a Beyonce or who else? Bruno Mars? Can you compete with their promotion and marketing team? No. So you're going to be doing this independently with a budget, with a very
small budget.
a short budget. So you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna produce my own music, I'm gonna do this. I mean, not saying that it can't happen. That means that it's a lot of work for you to do if you think you're gonna compete with the major label.
Yep. I find that a lot of people want the they want the success, but they don't want to do the work to get the success. Like, even for the actors, you have to go to training. Just because I mean, granted, your kid is cute, you know, you're a cute adult, you got a nice look with you, but if you don't know how to conduct yourself when you get in that casting room, if you don't know where to stand when you're on film and TV, if you don't know the difference on how you project if you're on theater and film,
exactly,
that's not going to help you. If you don't understand what a monologue is,
right,
to get an agent
exactly,
or a manager, then that's going to be a problem. So you have to have training.
Yes.
And even if you are an artist, you still have to develop your artistry.
Absolutely.
But people feel like they don't have to do that.
They don't feel like they feel like they made it. They arrived. And it's very difficult to, and I understand why you're, you know, you kind of feel like, I don't think I want to really touch that, because it is painful.
And then, so let me ask you this. So for music and a management, I know you have your manager, you have your label, you have, you know, different pockets of people who are helping escalate your career in music. So as a manager, for me, I find it very challenging and taxing to say, I'm going to fund your whole project, or I'm going to fund this for you, and we don't know where it's going. And usually I start out with year contracts just to make sure that we're a match. I don't want to work with anybody who doesn't want to work with me.
Absolutely.
So
that's the key.
You invest this money, and then there's no guarantee that you're going to get a return on your investment.
Right.
That's the thing I don't like about the music, is that you can be out a lot of money even before you start if you take on the financial responsibility of your clients.
Right. And see, a lot of people don't understand, when you're a manager, that doesn't mean that I'm your bank. So for me to help you with your career is one thing. That means that my percentage go up.
Right.
And see, a lot of people don't know. They be like, oh, Puppy, he was robbing everybody, but he put up all the money. If I'm giving you a place to live, I'm paying for all of your production, I'm paying for videos, I'm paying for all this, and you saying I shouldn't get what I deserve? And I'm saying not, you know, not the publishing part or the production part. I'm just saying, if I'm going to pay for everything for you, then my cut should be bigger.
Exactly.
So now, if you're just talking about the typical manager, then I'm gonna book you gigs. Of course, I, you know, fund you some money for, you know, whatever production or whatever. But then that's not a whole lot of finances.
But you can recoup those. If you know that you're going to book a show, or somebody's going to have a show, you make sure that it's going to be profitable. So you know you're going to get a return on your investment.
Exactly.
But if you are just you're paying the money for the imagery, you're paying for photo shoots, you're paying for all these, that's not videos, you're not going to recoup any of that money.
You're acting as a label.
Exactly. So
if you're acting as a label, that means that there's more fees and more things that have to be covered or recouped. So, and a lot of artists don't understand that. They don't understand that, one, what is your role? How are we working this? Are we going to be just management, or are we going to fund your whole career? And see, that has to be clear, crystal clear in a sense.
Right.
So, yeah. And for me, we took on a responsibility of managing a female group, which is even more. You talk about hair, makeup, wardrobe, styling, video, all of that. And it's a lot. And see, people don't understand, they're good. How did it get to that point? You know what I'm saying? They don't understand all the other things behind the scenes. And so with the artists, you have to understand what your worth is, and the manager have to understand what their worth is. So we come together so we can better your career. But at the end of the day, it can't be just one-sided. You think that you're the artist and you don't have to bring anything else. You have to be as committed as I am. And that's what I tell all my artists. I said, look, if you're working hard, I can work harder.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bringing something to the table, I can bring something to the table as well. It's just not one-sided. It has to be together, and we can work together.
Yeah. So you do youth.
Yes.
I heard you say boxers.
Yes. My son is an amateur boxer.
You do music.
Music.
You have a show that you would like to pitch to a network.
Yes.
Reach out. Did you tell them how they can find you?
I did not.
Yeah, let's tell them where they can find you.
Well, you can, if you want to send me an email, my email address is P as in Paul, W as in Williams, at dreammerchantmedia.com. And if as far as the website, you can visit us on dreammerchantmedia.com. And that's all about the company, and you can visit there or shoot me an email either way.
How they find you on social media?
Dream Merchant Media, Facebook, whatever. It's
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys pay attention.
Okay.
Boxers, if you're athlete, we'll just say athletes.
Athletes.
If you are a recording artist.
Yes.
If you are a aspiring actor.
Yes.
Actress.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can reach out. What else?
Yes.
Did I leave anything out?
As far as content pitch?
Oh, you have content pitch? Because I'm going to actually be talking to her offline about that, because my mind is always going. I can't ever sleep, so definitely would like to talk to her about that.
Yes. So we do a lot of things, and we also do consulting. Like if someone want to come in and they just want to talk about how to better their career or how to move it, which direction they should go, we consult as well. So
you heard it first here.
Yes.
Contact them. And then we're also pitching the Family Matters reboot. I need everybody to go on social media.
Please do.
And hashtag it. Is there a fan page for it yet? Because I know they had one for Girlfriends. They were trying to reboot Girlfriends too.
Yes. But isn't that funny how Girlfriends, like
I didn't like how
it
ended.
Girls Trip and now Girlfriends is trying to, it's just so many similarities, for that. But yeah.
I remember they were trying to do it, but I don't know which one didn't want it. I think somebody didn't want to do it, which is why they couldn't get Girlfriends to go. But that was a good show. Those shows back then were like the best shows.
But do you see how they're starting to transition back? I mean, because Fuller House was Full House, Boy Meets World, or Girl Meets World.
Yes.
So all these shows Roseanne is coming back.
I heard.
So
why none of our shows are coming back? What's going on?
Well, we can't work together?
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I'm just curious because I see a lot of there are a lot of reboots happening.
Yeah, and it should.
But I haven't seen any of I know Martin will never come back.
No.
What other good 80s shows were out there? We know the Cosby Show will never come back. No. A Different World would be a good one.
But what's the name from what is it? Blackish. She has now since she's off to college, the little girl, the young girl.
She got a spinoff.
She got a spinoff.
Yes. Yeah, she did.
Yep.
That's something like Different World.
Something like that, which would tackle all the different things that go on in college. So, but it's very rare though.
Yeah. I'm actually excited that Blackish made it, and it's been successful, because we definitely need some more shows out there like that. And they tackle a lot of good issues on that show.
They do.
And they haven't been censored.
No, which they should. They're amazing.
They have not been censored. They've been able to tackle it in a very tactful way. So.
Yes. All the issues that, even from police brutality to, being different shades of color. And it's one of my favorite shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing an amazing job. It's not trash TV.
No.
And I'm not against trash TV, because I engage in a little bit of trash TV, but I think it should be a balance. You have to show both sides of the spectrum. You have to be able to display the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. And I don't think we do a good job of that either.
And I think
that's why shows like Family Matters needs to come back, Cosby Show. I don't care about all that other stuff that was going on. It was a good show.
Yes, it was. I watched it yesterday.
What other good shows were there? It was Martin.
Living Single.
Yes, that would be a good one to
reboot.
reboot.
Yeah.
That one would be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. So we're gonna get on the trail of rebooting some of these great shows.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So do you guys have anything else coming down the pipe? Any other workshops that you're gonna put together?
We're looking actually in the spring of 2018, doing another one, but opening it to the public because the last one was just exclusive for our talent, and we would love to bring in other actors from LA and start
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Make sure you let us know so we can get our talent.
I want to bring or people may know him as Waldo, but I want to bring him in.
Oh yeah,
Sean, his real name. I want to bring in the brother Darius, and you know what I'm saying. Like I just want to make. Honestly, I wish I could make DC the new Hollywood.
You know, that's a whole nother conversation. One of the things I find I don't even know if I should, but anyway, I'm going to go there.
Go there.
So one of the things I find in DC is that DC is very cliquey.
Very.
And that it's very challenging as someone aspiring to enter that clique. So if you're not there, I don't care what you do. You can move the mountain, stars, and the moon. You're not getting in that clique.
That's true.
So why do you think that is? I mean, it's. I get more love in other areas than I do here.
I would say
no shade, but shade.
I think a lot of times it's more so of people are. I don't know, envious. I don't know if it's that crab in a barrel type vibe. They don't want to see you make it, or they feel like you're going to blow up. But
the thing is, you got a skill, I got a skill, you got a skill. We all have a hustle because we all out here grinding. You're doing great things. I'm clapping for you. Yes. If I have a connection over here, do you not realize we can go further faster?
Together?
If we work together, opposed to everybody's over here trying to figure things out on their own.
Right.
I don't get it.
That is so important. I'm glad you said that because I even thought about even doing like a network type thing where we all just come to an agreement to kind of like push each other. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, one situation be one thing, and you know what I'm saying? Well, we're all doing the same thing. Our hustle is real. Everybody's hustling for the same thing. Why can't we work together? Why can't we say, okay, you putting out an album or you putting out a single? Okay, what we got to do to help support you to get your numbers up? You know what I'm saying? But everybody's doing their own little individual situation, and you're not winning. You're not winning.
I mean, that's the one that I really and I respect the fact that you got to pay your dues,
right?
And I will respect the fact that I'm new. I don't have a problem with being the new kid on the block, but I will say that we have done some pretty good things in a short period of time that you at least can say hi.
Yes.
Or you could at least acknowledge the fact that we out here hustling and grinding.
Right.
But I get like very little nothing.
Well, that's why we started the Titan Arts Awards as well.
Oh, do you want to talk about that? I want to come this. When is that? December 18th?
It's supposed to be. Well, we're waiting for the final for the venue. We had it at Howard Theater last year, and I think with a lot of events going on there that were, I would say, I don't want to say negative things, but a lot of things, people are having events there, and I think there were fights breaking out and stuff.
Wow.
Not at the Titan Arts Awards, but it was just
in that area.
So it's supposed to be December the 10th, I think. That's on a Sunday, December.
We won the 2015. We won.
Yes.
I voted for you guys this year?
We're nominated?
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, you guys were nominated. I voted. You didn't know you were nominated?
I didn't know.
Yeah, you got to check. You got to go to the website. You got to go to Titan Arts Awards.
Oh, let me make sure I shout out. So everybody needs to also go to Titan Awards, and we need to vote for Ripped Radio Network.
Yes.
He's awesome.
Yes.
When I first decided to start the show, I had like 1,000 questions. I emailed him 50 million questions. before I started, and he answered every question.
That's what's up.
He's been patient. He's, he lets me know how I can make it. He's just been great. So make sure you go to Titan Awards and vote for Ripped Radio Network.
Yes.
I'll make sure. Oh, we got a phone call.
Oh, okay.
Hi, thanks for calling BMSTE Radio Show. And they tell me how I'm supposed to do this, and I never do it right.
It's Carolyn.
Hi, Carolyn.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, Peggy. Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
How you going? Good.
Good.
Let me get at least 2 minutes of time that's left. But this is such a wonderful conversation. Oh, my gosh. I was busting at the seams, having Taylor.
Hey, Taylor.
And everything. Yeah, Taylor's doing homework.
Oh, okay. See? It never ends.
But everything that you all said about, the business and the investment and just really supporting your child is so important. And there's so many people that just don't really know. When I got into it, I'm like, wow, this really is hard work. So everything that you all said is just so, is real to me in my life and our lives.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that and everything that you all doing. Benita, I love you. You know that.
Yeah, we love you guys
She's
too.
like family. Your manager is like your family.
It
So,
is.
and we talk, all the time. And I just really appreciate, everything that you all are saying. That people say, "Oh, I want my child in acting," but they really don't know what it is. And when you give them that, like you said, Peggy or Benita, that come to Jesus talk, then they really say, okay, is this for me? Is this for my child? So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for having this conversation. Appreciate it.
Thank you for calling in. We appreciate your feedback.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Taylor, say hello and keep,
I sure will.
Yes, she's an amazing talent.
She's definitely
Oh,
amazing.
She's
thank
she's
you.
You
definitely.
got to hear her sing, though.
Oh, I heard her scat, honey.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yes.
She did it?
Scat. Yes, ma'am.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she
You
did.
didn't tell me that part, Carolyn. We're going to have a conversation when I get off this stage here.
Yes, honey.
Yes, that girl can
Watching the
sing.
number
She
tomorrow.
can
She
sing.
is definitely talented.
Yes, yes. So tell us
Yes,
hello.
thank you so much. I
and
sure
she's-
will. Yes,
she-
Monday night, lots of homework, so got to keep her on track so she can do what she loves to do. But
Awesome.
I love you guys.
Love
Thank
you too.
so
Have
much.
a great night.
Thank you.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
I'm determined to get. Oh, let's go back to the Titan. I'm determined to get on that list.
Yes.
That'll be something that I'll say would be a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
So tell me about what your role is and how How do you help them out?
Well, as far as the Titan Arts Awards, we started, I think it was like 3-4 years ago, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And my role is I was the founder of the Titan Arts Awards.
Really?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
Yep. So.
Awesome. So tell me more. I'm intrigued now. We only got, 2 minutes?
Okay. Well, make sure you go to TitanArtsAwards.com and vote for your
Ripped Radio Network.
Let's get him that award this year. I think he won last year.
Won in 2015.
See? 2015.
Oh, he gonna
there
win
it
this
is.
year.
Look, it's right up there too. There it is. Yes.
He's going to win this year, and BMSTE Radio Show is going to win on the 18th for the Ripsy Awards.
Yes, yes.
So
make sure you come out and support the local artists, and that's what we do. We promote local talent and make sure that, they're being recognized. They work hard, they're grinding, they're trying to get it done. That's why I said, hey, let's all come together. We can be the next LA. We can be the next Atlanta. We can be the next New York.
Yes.
We can do
Preach.
it. We can do it.
I believe you, and I'm on the bandwagon with you. Whatever I can do to help as a partner up to make that happen, I'm all for it.
We can make it
I'm
happen.
willing to work and partner with anybody. But again, thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you for
having me.
our sponsor, the Makeup of Hair in Rockville. We definitely appreciate you. She did my hair and makeup and all the promotional videos. Thank you, Peggy, for coming
You're
out
welcome. Thank you
tonight.
for having me.
Absolutely, you come back anytime.
Okay,
so if
good.
you have talent you want to bring on,
Oh,
we can definitely work that out too. You got a lot of talent.
I got a lot of
So
talent.
thank you guys. How much time I got? A couple seconds.
About 30 seconds.
I got 30 seconds. So go to Ripped Radio network.com and vote for BMSTE Radio. Please vote. They were talking trash in here. They were going to be telling me from the stage, thank you. So make sure that you go on and vote. Thank y'all and have a great day. Night.
Night.